Hello, welcome everybody.
Woo!
Welcome back to our third video.
Third video now.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, we're going places. What are we going to be reviewing today?
Oh man. Da 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 da. Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman. And let's just get right down to it.
Right in the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
This- right off the bat, I just want to say, the best DC film.
Yeah, I would definitely say based on their previous work,
Yeah.
which is just I wouldn't say garbage, but it's definitely very disappointing, especially with all the production value behind it. But I just thought that it is the but not by a long shot
No.
the best DC movie there is so far. But yeah, man, I try to walk in without a bias. Like I try to
Yeah.
keep my head clear and just approach the movie as neutrally as I could. But
I avoided
Yeah.
every review
even
like
by
the plague. I didn't want to hear any status about it, and man, even with a clear mind.
I know, man, and even like we're trying to give DC a shot, but then that new DC opening logo that they have is so
Oh,
tacky
man.
and cartoony. Like it's
They
like
wanted to be so
I know.
cool so bad.
Yeah, they want us not to like them. They're purposely trying to make us not like them.
I don't understand why they can't be cool. Like,
It's not, and you know what? Like being cool is about not caring if you're being cool, and it's so obvious that DC is trying
try
so
so
hard,
hard.
to be cool. And let's just because the story is very bland. There's nothing that unique about it,
Yeah.
and just by being bland, it's already better than a lot of the DC. It's not as convoluted as other
definitely not as
DC
convoluted,
movies.
and
it's very direct to the
they
point.
simplified a lot compared to other stuff. Simplified it, and they seem to have like a basic forward motion, which
Yeah.
is a lot better than the past films.
Yeah,
we've
it
seen.
wasn't like this shit's going on and this shit's going on like Batman and Superman, where
Let's all
there
be
was like
middle.
10 storylines going all at the same time, and like half of them didn't even like lead up to anything.
Right.
But at least here, I did appreciate that it was a more straightforward plot, even though it was. I mean, like, you've seen the trailer; it's all a giant flashback, but it felt
Yeah.
more organic, which is what I like.
Right. It was kind of going through the whole film. I was like, oh yeah, this was in the trailer. This was the
Yeah.
trailer showed way
Everything.
too much. I didn't think it did. When we were watching the trailer, we reviewed it. Like I thought it was trying to keep a lot back.
Yeah.
That was 90% of the film.
To be fair, that is mostly towards the end. Like at least for the beginning, I was actually really enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
For the better first half of it, it's not until later on they go to their general DC magic towards the end.
Yeah, and they got worse this time. It like DC, we all know, has like their dark kind of format.
Yeah.
This one takes it to a whole new level. Like there was scenes I literally couldn't see what's going
yeah,
on.
there's a lot of them take place during the dawn and the nighttime, and you can't see shit.
Yeah.
You really can't. But what I hate the most is that they tempt us with a huge balance of color, all of this variety
Right.
of hues and contrasts.
Beautiful intro.
But then they go straight to the UK and we're back to regular DC, which
Yeah.
was disappointing.
Because it was a nice punch in the face, like, oh, you guys do
Yeah.
like know what color is. Like you can
Yeah.
make this really beautiful environment, and then London. And it's gross. And I understand. Like obviously London wasn't a very colorful place and still isn't, but
At least London, it made sense for that to have the very grainy, very muted colors that DC
Right.
usually has. But even then, they went the extra level by not letting you see anything because everything is shot in the night.
yeah, and I can understand if like shots are in the night, like the scene calls for that, okay. But
Yeah.
there was no point in me not seeing the action. Like literally, I could barely see her silhouette. Like
Yeah.
with the sun setting, and there was no point for it being that dark.
Yeah, they really need to work on their lighting because I mean, there's a lot of movies that take place during night, and I never had a problem seeing them. But here, do they just go out of their way to make it extra dark? Like somebody just changed the settings on your TV to contrast 0 because you can't see shit.
Yeah, basically. And going back to the story, like with the really dark scenes, not being able to see everything, and then like everything progresses way too fast and way too easily.
Yeah.
And like there is no strong conflict, and there is no sense of dire urgency. I mean,
Yeah.
the situation of the story is it's fucked up. Like it's dire, but the urgency to accomplish what they're doing is not really there.
Yeah, everything conveniently just happens. Like,
Right.
like for example, the first fight that you see in the trailer, where you know the soldiers are finally invading the beach of Themyscira and they're fighting. There's no build up to that. It just
Mhm.
happens just straight out of that scene. We go straight into that, and there's no build up. And you can say for a lot of the stuff in this movie. There's no build up. There's no.
No big payoffs.
Yeah, exactly. There's no organic build up to anything.
Right,
really.
and there, I mean, because there's no build up, there's no payoff to be had. Like by the end, you're like, yeah, like okay, that went by way too fast. Even the action sequences were just a minute. Like,
Yeah.
and this is like, even like the main villain and villains or whatever. Like, there's no strong battle, but to really show Wonder Woman.
You know what? I actually was okay with the action scenes. They didn't really bother me, even though there's not that many.
Mm-hmm.
It's the slow motion, the unnecessary slow motion
So many
that takes
times.
away all of the momentum of the action scenes. Because, I mean, at least in some action scenes, you can have slow motion and do something creative with it. Here, they don't do that. They just slow-mo with her kicking a dude in the face or her punching a guy in the gut, but they never do anything creative with it. It's only to extend the action scenes.
More
And
or less, yeah.
I would have actually liked to see just Wonder Woman like speeding through everything, where you can barely see her and just her showing her real agility. you
Right,
know?
and I think there's only one or two snippets of an action scene where you
Yeah.
saw that and you're like, yes, and then it's like to slow motion. You're like, why? Like and the slow motion scenes weren't even that grand.
Mhm.
Like they didn't really show much within those scenes to be like, oh, like why? Like that is awesome. But you're like, no, like I want to
Yeah.
see. She is fucking fast.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
realize that.
Yeah.
until I saw this, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, just little snippets that really show like her power.
Yeah.
And even at the very end, when she should have like unleashed a bit more,
No,
it wasn't there.
I want to get to the spoilers in this so
Oh,
bad.
God.
We will. But since we're already talking about Wonder Woman's power, Gal Gadot, oh my god, she's. I was already telling you, well, when we saw the trailer,
I know.
she is a fucking shitty actress. Like, she doesn't sell you on any kind of emotion. She has the same confused puppy face throughout the entire. Yeah, exactly. She has the whole puppy lean, you know, when they don't know how like windows
Yeah.
work, and it's just that's her throughout most of the time. She looks surprised for like 90% of the movie, and even when tragedy is happening all around her, when major characters die, it's
Yeah,
like
that-
somebody told her favorite flavor of ice cream wasn't there. You know, like it's like she doesn't sell it for one bit. It's just.
Although she was really excited about ice cream.
Yeah, no, she really did like the ice cream. Yeah, she very much has a lot of pride for the ice cream makers, but she doesn't sell a single scene. Only when she works with Chris Pine, who I thought was the best actor in this movie.
He
with,
definitely carried the film.
yeah, with what little he was given. There's definitely just a lot of scenes where even non-verbally he can still emote and express his emotions.
Yeah,
you know?
and yeah, there is a moment where he's talking to her, but she can't hear him because of
Mhm.
explosions and shit. Bump. But
Yeah.
and you can tell like exactly how he's feeling. Yeah, like that's sweet. Like I can't hear what you're saying, but it's so obvious. Like what he's saying.
Yeah, he was a nice surprise,
And
especially.
then they ruined it by going back to
I
it and
know.
telling you what he said. We're like, we know, like we're not animals.
I was okay with it because I had an idea of what he was saying, but I really did want to know what he said because I didn't know in the end he said what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so I kind of
it
like
didn't
that.
surprise you though.
It didn't, but I did like to actually hear it out loud. But I mean, in the end, of course, it's really him that was actually the only good actor here, which was amazing because I thought in the trailer he was barely going to be in the movie.
Right. Yeah, and it seems like a lot more secondary character, but he really just
Yeah, I mean,
pulled
this
everything through.
this movie is all about Chris Pine and Gal Gadot. Like, not a single other actor in here like steps out of the usual, you know, like forgettable supporting character thing.
Right, and what's hard is like I'm watching her play Wonder Woman, and the entire time I'm still freaking struggling to figure out who would do a better job. Like
you still.
I can't. I am
You're
still
thinking
thinking about that. Please, people, like let us know who you think would be better because, for the love of God, I can't think of one person. And she didn't do as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I'll give her that.
It was
This is
bad, dude.
This is
It was
bad.
bad.
But you know what's worse? Is that this is still the best like female character
Oh,
hero
yeah.
that we've had.
It is sad that this is the best, quote unquote, like best female superhero led movie. Yeah, it's just, oh man, I just think they really don't give a shit about what actors they're having to portray these characters, man. It's yeah, Chris Pine is the only one that held his own, and even then, the villains which could have at least been interesting, the General Ludenheiner Wiener, whatever his name was, some German ass name, he's portrayed by Danny Houston, and usually I like him, but he
That was a really
given
flat character.
a very cartoony, very second dimensional role here, because there's moments where he's like super serious and intense, which at least were the most effective parts. But
Right.
then he has like these silly, goofy moments where he's having like an evil villain lab with his friend
Yeah.
Doctor Poison, you know.
I know. It was very like X-Men 2-ish.
I wouldn't go there, but it's still pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. And then we will ruin it, but the main villain,
They pull an Iron Man 3.
they fucking pull an
Yeah.
Iron Man 3. It pisses you off. It's bad. And with freaking Gal Gadot doing Wonder Woman, I see why they chose her because of who wrote this fucking thing. It fits right into what he writes.
Oh yeah, well at least for screenplay I believe it is
Right, yeah.
screenplay. Alan Heinberg, he does like all of those like very CW, WB dramatic kind of shows.
We're
you know,
talking like Sex in the City,
yeah,
Grey's Anatomy.
I know. Basically your typical CW, you know, coverage. He's the one that does all of that. And that actually explains a lot of the writing.
Explains a lot of the story. Explains
Yeah.
what there's a certain mood to this, and the entire time we're gonna have to like touch upon like the feminism of this film and how they portray Wonder Woman, and it's hit and miss. You liked the section when she first gets to London and they're like trying to make her fit in because she
I
looks like an
actually did like
Amazonian
that.
woman.
I like
And
the
when you
whole-
go to London, you
Yeah.
kind of stand out.
Yeah, no, I did like the whole fish out of water thing. And even the scene where she's trying out the dresses and she goes like, how the fuck do you fight in this? I was actually cracking up. And I like that they ended it, like, as soon as the highlight of the joke got there, they moved on. They didn't do the whole thing where a lot of comedies are doing right now where,
Go
you know,
way
they
too
just
long.
keep going, have them ad-lib until they hit some funny notes, you know?
Yeah.
Here it actually scripted, it worked well. It was, I mean, maybe that was his strength, you know, Alan, because he does write comedies.
Right.
But I mean, overall, I would say that it did have okay-ish humor. I definitely caught myself laughing
A lot
more
better
often.
than any other DC
Yeah.
films. Like it was like real humor, and you're like, "Ooh, that was painful to watch."
Yeah, there's especially a lot of good awkward humor in here.
Yeah, definitely. Again, but Chris Pine.
Chris Pine is the
carries
only one that does
everything. when Wonder Woman is alone, oh god, they are
No,
long scenes.
If she's alone by herself and has nobody to work with, she sucks
It's
ass.
bad. She
Yeah.
just has that weird puppy face. What is
I
going
know.
on, Mom? What is this? And you're like, why? Like, there's no emotion, and like, people are dying around her, and it's like,
Yeah.
Aww. Like you're like,
They don't have vanilla.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's the extent of her emotions, which really sucks. Because, I mean, if you're gonna have like a strong female character that actually embraces her emotions, I mean, there's a whole scene where she's saying like, "Oh, we're gonna save the world with love," you know.
Right.
She doesn't
it's
sell
bad.
it. If she's gonna do it, then Gal Gadot was not the lady for the job, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I definitely felt like I was enjoying it a lot more. Maybe DC is learning. Maybe by the time we get to like their 10th movie, they'll be really good.
God, if they're still in business.
Oh, they're gonna be in business,
You
dude.
know.
As we're speaking, I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman already made its profit.
Oh, I'm sure. Like just for everyone wants to see it. They like everyone has hope for
Yeah.
this, and I don't blame them. I mean I try to go in with an empty mind, but I did have hope for it in general because this is a really heavy like point in DC. If
Yeah.
you fuck up Wonder Woman, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, I almost wish they did fuck it up just so we had like a lot
A
more
reason to
like
do it
shit to
again.
talk about it. But
Right.
they just did an okay job, and I mean, sure, but I mean, when you do it with something as iconic as Wonder Woman, it's really disappointing.
Right. I like how DC transitions into DC
Yeah.
halfway into the film.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even say it's a little bit later. Like maybe like towards the last of the second act, it gets to familiar DC territory where everything is dark, the CGI looks fake as shit,
Mhm.
and the characters are just
the
throwing
CGI.
down. But the thing is, it's sure you can have the third act. The only reason that I was okay with the Man of Steel third act was because it actually looked creative. It actually looked like it was actually Superman and Zod fighting.
Mhm.
But
Right.
here they're fighting in the middle of an airport, and it looks so fake. It really does look all fake, and all they're doing is throwing things at each other or
Yeah.
throwing each other,
That's what I hated.
and that's really all they do. Yeah,
There's no real smackdown. Like
No.
it's literally they're literally just throwing tanks at each other.
Yeah.
That's all of their battles, and it's just by the time it actually the conclusion happens, you're just like, wait, that
that was it.
kind of happened too easy. You could have done that like a long time ago. And the reason it happened,
Yeah,
I didn't like. It was to be expected, like no doubt. But the way they executed it, I think it was just because she can't act.
yeah.
Like she just didn't carry her motivation to do it well enough. Like that was like perfect motivation, which we'll get into later, of like how like she won the whole battle and everything, but damn, like act, carry
Yeah.
a scene, you know?
No, it really sucks because she can't carry a feather with her acting, and yeah, it just all goes into familiar DC territory.
Yeah, definitely. It just, yeah, again, really dark, and you don't need to go that extreme.
Especially with Wonder Woman, who is so colorful.
Right.
You know, like you actually wanted to see the shine of her red and blue suit, but most of the time it's just like a brown or like a very dark purple.
Well, she just has it covered up with a
Yeah.
cloak, and you're like, no, like she's supposed to be the stark contrast to
Yeah.
this crazy fucking world. Like she's that light at the
Yeah.
end of the fucking
You
tunnel.
want her to stand out.
You want her to stand out, and the whole time they just have her covered. And sometimes it's like, oh, you're like almost naked, you know?
I know.
You're like, oh god, like okay, joke once or twice, but then the entire time it was like that, like oh god, there's a woman fighting.
Yeah.
Which for the time, okay, like I get it, but they just carried that theme.
It was a
across
joke that
too
was
long.
funny to begin with, but towards like the halfway part in the movie, it does get a little old. But I mean, at least they're working with, you know, even though they're not the best actors, actual human beings. Because as the movie progresses, the CGI gets more and more obvious.
It gets really bad and just really fake scenes, and just it gets to the DC that we've seen before. It was almost not quite as bad as Batman Superman, obviously, but that escalation to the ending and just explosions everywhere, and then wrap it up, and you're like,
Man, those were some fake ass explosions. Like,
those
oh
were
my
pretty bad.
god, it looks like they were made on MS Paint. But since we're already talking about on a grander scale of DC, how do you think Wonder Woman will progress and translate over into Justice League?
See, this was supposed to be
The
a
savior.
window, and the savior, yes, for DC, which not quite.
She's like the Anakin of the DC world.
I know.
You were the chosen one.
Ah! No.
You were supposed to bring DC together.
Right.
I could imagine this like being like the mangled corpse of a volcano fire of DC, but it wasn't that bad. Thankfully.
You see the creators of DC.
I know.
We had one job. You guys gotta stop having interns do things.
Yes.
It's not working out for you.
Get the coffee and write the script.
But no, this was really supposed to be a window into how Justice League was supposed to be for me, and Justice League is not going to be good for me. I already have that feeling, which is really
Yeah.
bad to have. I'm trying to go in with an open mind, but you've already fucked up Batman Superman. You've done a decent job with Wonder Woman, but because of who the actor is,
Actress.
Because-
Wait, she's not hanging dong through the skirt. Don't
because
worry.
Chris Pine's not going to be there to save her character, this is not going to
Oh
go
yeah.
well. In
Without
Justice
having
League.
anyone to work with, she's gonna suck.
So she's not gonna be that strong character that we're gonna want in Justice League. She's just not gonna play a strong part. I can already tell. And we've already seen the trailer for Justice League. We know how dark and gloomy and the music and everything. We already know how bullshit that's gonna be.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we already know this is gonna be a shit ton of action scenes that don't really lead up to anything spectacular.
Yeah, it's
That's how I see it.
disappointing because I mean, Wonder Woman has absolutely no personality in here. For a character that, like I said, you know, like dives all into like the whole love and compassion aspect. I don't feel that at all.
Yeah. That was bad.
Hey, Wonder Woman doesn't love me, but I can tell you right now that if that's the Wonder Woman we're gonna have in Justice League, that sucks because it's like you said, she's not gonna have Chris Pine to save her from drowning in there, and yeah, they're already gonna be introducing three new other characters,
I know,
and
on top of all
already
that.
Henry Cavill can act. Of course, we know Batfleck can act just
Mhm.
fine, but that depends on the material he's given, and
Right.
yeah.
Which we can expect there's not gonna be a lot of material for him, for any of the actors or actresses to be given to like kind of work with. They really need like a really good screenplay.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
Something that breaks apart from the regular DC stuff we've been given.
I don't think
They've been
Jeff
given.
Johns had anything to do with this movie, huh?
Not really.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And look how this turned out.
It was a Barry TV kind of script.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah, the whole time. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So before we completely go away, and before we ruin the rest of the film with spoilers, there's not much to ruin, but you know, still, we definitely want to let you guys know to follow us on Facebook. Watch our ugly mugs on YouTube. This is a live video in case you're just listening in. You're like, oh, what's going on? Definitely go check us out. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. We're on Facebook under Cue the Review. Mario's still working on our website. We're going to have everything up for you guys once we have a nice collection of our videos. And definitely, we want to let you guys know about some friends of ours. Mario, you want to introduce them?
So definitely check out our guys on YouTube. They're called Radioactive Goldfish. They do not sell sushi, don't worry. They actually do video game playthroughs, and it's really fun to watch them do it. And they will actually be doing Injustice
Injustice
too,
League, yeah.
in the whole theme of the wonderful Wonder Woman.
Yep, and it's going to be beautiful, guys. So definitely check that out. We'll have it in my show notes, and we'll also have a link down below on YouTube. All right. If you want to cue out now, guys, because we really want to go over the spoilers for this, because the ending is shit.
Oh God! Can I take away with the porn stash? Can I? Yeah. I know. Yes, that was the whole thing. So, if you already seen the movie, you know that the main general is not Ares. It's actually a forgettable dude with the porn stash who was, you know, kind of in the background helping them, but obviously he was not.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was a horrible twist because I mean I was already expecting it not to be the general, like, oh, maybe it's Dr. Poison, maybe it's somebody who's already in that
I
team.
really wanted to be Dr. Poison.
Yeah, that would
what?
be cool. But no, instead it's this dude who starts off with a porn stash, but then he adds armor, so it just looks twice as silly by the fact
it's
that
so cartoonish.
I know it looks like a
I can't
parody
take it
porn of
seriously.
Lord of the Rings, you know? Like
Yeah. Oh God. It's just so bad. Like I wanted him to transform into Ares. I thought
Yeah.
like, and then he just stayed that way. Like, I am Ares. You're like,
Yeah.
you're the god of war.
Yeah, supposedly he's the god of war.
All right. Like, okay,
Yeah.
mustache.
Yeah, he looked like the god of porn with that 70s
Yeah, right.
mustache, dude.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just they just really don't know how to use actors and actresses in these movies. It's,
Well, they
it's
can't
really
make a strong
disappointing.
villain.
No, they can't.
I don't know why. Like, it's not that hard, people.
No.
Like, that was not it. And back to the fights you were talking about, when they're just clashing, they're just throwing shit at each other, and you're like, this is the god of war.
Yeah, it doesn't amount to
Like,
anything.
I'd rather watch the Ares and Xena over and over. That's way better. Like, what is this? I just don't understand. Your fight sequences, like your build-ups at the end, just collapse really quick. And what I was trying not to spoil earlier, people, is Wonder Woman's motivation to defeat Ares, when she finds out that she's a demigod, and she's like learning that she has these powers that she can defeat Ares. Her motivation when she's like at the last little bit, like, I need this final reserve of energy, is she thinks about the guy, Chris Pine, who just offed himself to save the world, and he told her that he loved her before he left. And she's like, oh man, she ruins that.
Dude, I love it.
Oh,
For a
God.
very masochistic approach, I love that scene. Because as soon as she like actually like unbounds herself and just goes rah, it was like some Dragon Ball Z stuff. Like I was wanting to hear metal in the background.
Right, yeah,
You know, like
right?
some really cheesy 80s metal was what I was
Dun,
expecting
dun,
to hear.
dun, dun,
And
dun.
yeah, it's really tacky and not well done at all. Like they could have done some kind of build up towards that where she finally gains her last little bit of strength to defeat the main villain.
Right.
But it's really cheesy.
She does not carry. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's an obvious reason for her to be motivated. Like, the guy that like introduced her to this whole world she didn't know about, and like she's finding out what like love is and everything else, and but when she's just like, when they have the close up of her face
I
and she's
know.
like thinking about it, she's like,
She still has the confused puppy face.
Yeah.
Like I'm all powerful.
like have some tears or something. I think she cried once.
yeah.
in this
but,
whole
but
film.
I didn't even see a tear. That's the thing.
I think she did when the village got torched.
I guess, but I get like I said, Gal Gadot is a horrible actress. I cannot tell she was sad.
Yeah. and God, Chris Pine, you really carried this film. That guy was hilarious,
I
and like
know.
when she walks into him and he's like just coming out like the bath.
Leave it to a man to say the female lead movie.
Are you average man for your species? I mean,
Those were
above
actually funny scenes.
average.
Like I did
that
like,
was
like the
that
whole
I liked.
awkwardness
No, that
of
I
it.
liked.
Yeah.
Those little quibs with each other, like when they're on the boat. I don't want to sleep with you, but I.
Do you never sleep with women?
No, I do. I sleep with. Damn it! Carried it so well.
Yeah.
Perfect amount of awkwardness, and they didn't
Yeah.
over. Thank you, DC, for not overdoing that joke. Like they
Yeah.
did know how to like quit when it was like at the
That was-
top peak of their.
I would say that's
Comedy.
what partly made most of the humor really good was that they knew when to stop. They knew when to hit the punchline. Let's go to the next thing. Whatever you thought about it, it did have good pacing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I realized we did fuck up a little bit, Mario.
Yes, we did.
We did. We're sorry, people. If you're still listening, like I'll fix this. I'll fix this. I'm sorry.
You fixed everything,
I'll
motherfucker.
fix this. We didn't give a rating.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
I'm sure we can incorporate it.
You probably
somehow.
already
We'll make it
know. You
work.
probably have already understood how we do this, but we do have a wonderful rating system, people, and we have You Motherfucker.
Mhm.
We have I Didn't Throw Up, and we have Rent, Netflix and chill. You know, probably don't see it in theaters. Not worth it. We have See It in theaters. It's not mind blowing, but definitely go see it. Experience the.
You want this on the big screen.
And then there's what the fuck are you doing with your life, motherfucker? Like, you have work today? No, can't call in sick? Go see this in IMAX, 3D, whatever you gotta do to see this motherfucking film.
You have to go to a funeral. Fuck your grandma. Go watch this movie.
This is groundbreaking shit. For Wonder Woman, I have to say, DC, you did a pretty good job. You stepped it up. For a DC film, it's not saying much, but this is definitely your best film, I have to say. But you still have your flaws, you still have your really dark moments, and you can't really write a strong film. But considering your other films, go see this. I'm gonna say Rent, Netflix and shit. This is definitely a film that might give you hope if you're not a DC fan or if you're trying to stay with them. See Wonder Woman. This is definitely the right lean forward. I don't know if they stumbled
Yeah.
into this lean. It seems more as like they're testing the waters. Like, will this work? Maybe. Like,
They
how do
were
you
good
like
by
our new
accident.
intro? But you're getting there. You're doing something. You're probably gonna ruin all this hope I have in Justice League. But for now, go see this film. That's not in theaters, but definitely see it. What about you, Mario?
Yeah, so I'm kind of leaning towards the Netflix and see this movie on the big screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a little trouble mulling it over here, but overall I would say it was more of a good experience than bad. There was, I mean, sure, it did have its moments. Like, sure, Gal Gadot is a bad actress, but I mean, overall the movie is just happening around her. She's more,
Right.
yeah, it's not really about her character development when you get down to it. It's really, just an action scene. I mean, an action scene just extended to the 2 hours, but yeah, I felt like for what, like you said, for what DC has had going so far, it is good progress.
Right.
And there was never a moment where I wanted to throw up or was cringing, in the past DC movies. And that was the only movie where I was actually laughing in a
Right,
DC
yeah.
movie. Yeah, it had really good
Because
sense
it was
of
actually
humor.
good, not
Yeah.
because you're like, oh god, that is pandemic. Although you had that one moment when with Ares, and he's like, he disappears and he's like creeping through the window,
I
like,
love that.
I see you over here.
They have this whole scene where they're in a room with glass all over,
watchtower,
and
yeah.
it's always like, no, I'm right here. No, I am
over
right
here.
here. And no, even though
you.
yeah, it had its moments, but they weren't as painful. It wasn't like somebody
Oh, yeah,
punched me to
definitely
the
not.
gut
Yeah.
and made me want to walk out of there. So, yeah, I would say watch it in theaters. You don't have to pay the whole $12 charge for it.
Right.
Catch it as a matinee or as a student special. But yeah, for the most part, I'd say that it was an okay movie overall. And if you're talking about in the context of DC, it is good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, no, it was. I never regretted seeing it. It was just, it has its faults here and there, but because it does have good humor, and I thought the action scenes were okay. It's only towards the third act where shit starts to get bad. But yeah, overall, I thought that for the most part, I was enjoying the experience on the big screen. So I'm gonna give it a very low watch it in theaters.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5
I know.
stars.
I'm cheating, but that's what I'm doing.
No, that's fair. Like, yeah, it's definitely good job. I like how the audience clapped at the end of this one,
Just barely, though.
which I haven't seen a lot more than the other
like
DC
really,
films.
it was just like.
Yeah. I mean, compared to the other DC films, where they're like, just out.
So
you
that
know.
happened.
That happened. There's a hole in my pocket with all that money burned. Like, yeah. No, like,
I didn't leave pissed off.
slow clap.
Which is the best way I can explain this. I did not leave pissed off,
Right.
pulling my hair and wanting to throw up.
I'm just glad you really didn't, like, completely fuck up Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like, that was a savior in and of itself. Just not leaving going, you fucking ruined fucking art.
Yeah.
That would have been bad. So I'm glad you didn't do that. So thank you, everybody. That's our spoilers. That's a review for Wonder Woman. Thank you for listening in. Definitely tune in next time for our next review. We have a couple trailers coming up, and next weekend we have a couple more movies coming out. So definitely look out for those. So stay tuned in. Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye.